Welcome to our recap of round number 2 for Liberty Hockey 1. Great to be with you. Jordan Canellis and Kin Smith with you. Kin, that was another fantastic week of hockey.
Yes, certainly. Starting on Friday night, it was a great clash between the Fire and the Chill.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the opening match of the weekend, which was the Canberra Chill getting a 4-2 win over the Adelaide Fire in Canberra. Naomi Evans and Ellie Ray are both scoring 2 goals apiece. And really, this was just a great response from the Chill after a heavy loss last week, 10-3, and they get on the winners list.
Yeah, and I think a really good result against a very good Adelaide Fire team. You know, Shona McCallan and others really adding some depth. Margot van Geffen, a couple of the best in the world and gold medalists. So I think it just shows the depth in the women's competition. This was a sensational finish from Evans as well, so lots of goals early in the game.
The Fire are 0-2 to start the season, unfortunately. They do have points on the board after the shootout loss last week against Hockey Club Melbourne, but they'll be on the road now for win number 1. All goals in this game, by the way, coming in the first quarter. So it started hot early on, and then Canberra able to hold on for the victory. Naomi Evans and Ellie Ray. Ellie Ray, one of the foreign imports this season. She had, she's only been there for 2 games, but that was her best showing. And then the men's game after that was a heavy win for the Canberra Chill, 6-2. So both Canberra sides won on this evening. And the story of the match here, as that was a great goal, by the way, from Kaito Tanaka. That'll be one of the goals of the week. But it was Dylan Brick who scored a hat-trick on his debut. You'll see a couple of his penalty corners coming up here. Not before this one from Gary Backus, but Brick was unstoppable from the short corners.
Yeah, I think some of the real subtle deception he has from the top of the circle was great, and it has to be quality to beat a keeper of Jed Snowden's calibre. But this was a great game, a long delay for weather in the middle of it, but you're absolutely right. I think that finish by Kaito Tanaka will end up on a lot of highlight reels around the socials, around the world. So a great performance by the Chill, and a great welcome to the league for Dylan Brick.
Dylan Brick goes alongside Aidan Dooley as being a Canberra Chill player who has scored a hat-trick this season. So 1 week after the other, Aidan Dooley in round 1, Dylan Brick in round number 2. And then we go to Newcastle the next day. So the first time that Hockey 1 has gone to the Newcastle International Hockey Centre, and it was the return of the Brisbane Blaze. So they had the bye in round number 1, but the defending champions starting off their title defence with a 3-2 win against the New South Wales Pride.
Yeah, always tight between these two teams, and how good to see the stands full in the regional areas, and a couple of great goals, exceptional from the Fitzpatrick sisters also.
Yeah, it was a sellout, 1,500 people at Newcastle, so as the New South Wales Pride take their games this season to a couple of regional areas. Goulburn will be up soon as well in New South Wales. Fantastic that they've taken this initiative. So first up win for the Brisbane Blaze. That was a late consolation there, you see, from Lucinda Prio, scoring 2 goals, by the way. Well done to her from an individual perspective, Lucinda Prio. Then to the men's match, and Miles Davis had a hat-trick, and it started off with this unbelievable goal to chip the keeper.
Yeah, I think it was described, Simon Orchard had a text from Flynn Ogilvie saying it was one of the best goals he had ever seen, and no doubt drew a smile to the face of Kieran Govers. But sometimes when you're on, you're just on, and what a game by Miles Davis. It was a real physical, tough affair, and great skills. The return of Daniel Beale, one of the smoothest midfield movers in world hockey, and that finish from Jaden Atkinson as well, one of the rising stars. So exceptional from both sides in this particular aspect, and some late drama as well.
Absolutely, yes. A couple of their big-name players out of the team, the Brisbane Blaze, which meant they had a much younger squad. This was Miles Davis completing his hat-trick, by the way, so a fantastic finish there on the reverse to get his 3 goals for the day. But then it came down to this save from Ash Thomas against Diana Chappell. Chappell scored a field goal late in the piece, had the conversion opportunity to make it 3-3, but he was denied in the last couple of minutes by Ash Thomas, which secured the 3-2 scoreline for the New South Wales Pride. And then to the last match day of the rounds, the Perth Thundersticks and the Tassie Tigers playing at a 6-3 result. 8 of the 9 goals in this game, Kin, came in the first quarter alone.
Yeah, I think it was ominous early, wasn't it? You really didn't want to have arrived late to the Perth Hockey Centre. You would have missed one of the best quarters of hockey I think we've seen. It was open, it was attacking. That's probably the best pass you'll see all season. I'm calling it now, round 2. Courtney Chanel, just such a dynamic player for the Perth Thundersticks. But Tassie, we spoke about them digging in last week, and they did exactly the same thing here. A couple of really well-worked set pieces, and also just really starting to bond as a team and get their connections going. So great to see that they were able to get back in the game, and this was the sealer.
Yeah, it was Ava Drummond. So we saw the long through pass from her, then we saw a long run from her coming from midfield to set up Linnae Milan there to win the game 6-3 for the Perth Thundersticks, and they've got a, we'll see the ladder in a second, but they've got a big lead on the rest of the league. This match here, the men's match, the last game to finish us off in round 2, we didn't see quite in stark contrast to the women's with 9 goals. There were no goals here after 60 minutes. Couple of great opportunities though, some great goalkeeping from both Leon Hayward and from Ben Rennie, however.
Yeah, the goalkeeping really was the story of this, and also just these teams have played out tight games ever since the start of the Hockey One League. So it played to script and had to go to a shootout. This was almost the opportunity for Tassie to steal it late in the game, Josh Belts. But look at the angles of Ben Rennie and just quality all over the park. There's the reaction from the bench.
Yeah, and then it went to the shootout after 0-0 at the end of 60, and this man here, Brody Foster, scored the winning shootout goal to give victory to the Perth Thundersticks. So well done to Perth, and they have got another win on the board as we take a look at the ladder. So that's their first points of the season, the Perth Thundersticks. But it's the Canberra Chill who lead the way with 2 outright victories, and they have a nice little gap early on after 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think some great results and also a nice bounce back. Canberra Chill welcoming in some overseas players, but also some players back, which I think will see them be a totally different prospect this year to last year.
And Hockey Club Melbourne back in action next week against the Perth Thundersticks after the bye in round number 2. The women's ladder, runaway leaders early on, the Perth Thundersticks, bagging 16 goals for a +10 goal difference and a 5-point lead on the rest of the comp.
Their match against HC Melbourne next Saturday shapes up as something that really could define both those clubs' seasons. If Perth get the win, well, it's a big mountain to climb. But if HC Melbourne can get back in that conversation, then it really sets us up for an excellent second half.
You can see how tight the ladder was there as well, from second down to last, with the points compacted and a lot of shootout wins as well from round number 1. So it's only 2 weeks in, but already bodes well as being a really close season for both the men and the women as well. Kim, thank you.
No worries. Thanks so much, Jordan. It was an absolute pleasure.
And we'll see you all again in round 3 at the Liberty Hockey One League. We'll see you again next week.